Hi there, you're at the Tron Wyckoff analysis session. So, last week we talked about, is Tron heading towards an upthrust, this guy over here? And it seems like it's still positive as of this moment because Tron, looking at this candle, has just passed above this green resistance line at around 31 cents 88. That was the price set by the buying climax back in December last year. And if the candle can close above this line this week, then the upthrust is pretty much confirmed. However, we're still far from that. We're still over 6 days from the close of this candle. If it closes below the green and returns as a red candle, then it may take a little longer before the real upthrust appears, or it may not appear at all, and this will end up just a second test. But so far, it looks positive. The price is still going up along this sky blue channel box, and it's still staying above this green support line. So that's a good sign. And the second support line right now is this pink line at around 28 cents 50. The third, depending on how far it goes, is this blue slope over here, and it changes over time. Currently is around 28 cents. If it happens next week, then it will move up to 28 cents 30 roughly, and eventually keep going up by around 30-40 cents per week. So if the price continues, obviously the point to challenge is this pin on top of the building. That's 45 cents. That's the ultimate challenge point for this upthrust if it really continues. The only thing I am a bit worried right now is after 2 weeks ago, this high volume bar, the volume seems to be declining. If this week's volume bar is somewhere around here, it's still a decline from for 3 consecutive weeks, and it doesn't. It shows a very strong support if it's happening that way, especially because of this tall green bar over here on July 14th, the week of July 14th. There was quite a bit of selling going on back then, so that's why we have such a high volume bar. It's not that it's going crazy high and closing high, is there are basically people selling at around 35 cents 50. So be very careful if the upthrust is about to lose steam and return. Then, well, normally in a textbook explanation or introduction, they won't talk about this automatic reaction for upthrust or upthrust of the distribution, but I consider that retracement as an automatic reaction as well, much like what happens to the buying climax. So I'll put in here with a question mark, is it going to test that pink or this blue slope over here like we talked about before, or is it going to go as deep as the purple line at around 24 cents 50? That's the level where the last automatic reaction happened back in mid-December last year. So this is the big picture for weekly. Hope it to go along this top edge, but be prepared, set your stop loss for an automatic reaction retracement to happen. Looking at the daily, here we've put in an upthrust tag over here. As of this moment, this one, if that's really an upthrust, I would consider this a second test, and I already mentioned that automatic reaction over here. And currently, again, very high volume today, and there's still more than 6 hours left for today. Here, like I said, there's quite a bit of selling when the price gets to that level, and if it really closes lower and consecutively for the next few days as well, it's going to come back to test the yellow line at around 31 cents. So we talked about this previously, always, or like you sharp eyes are always able to notice these kind of triangles, right? Last week we talked about this ascending triangle and say, okay, is it going to break to the upside by the middle of this month? And or is this the second option that it's come to tested yellow? Goes through the blue and comes to tested yellow. Either case, like I said in the weekly, look at how this is evolving. If the volume continues to decline, it's unlikely that it's going to the upside. So it has to follow what happens to the weekly. If the weekly continues to hover along this edge, the top edge of the channel box, then the daily would have a chance, or is going to follow and break above the orange line. So that's the scenario that how in the daily chart can break above this resistance. So that's it for Tron. Looking great compared to the other altcoins, especially today it's a piece of Red Sea, except Tron itself around the top 20 altcoins. So finger crossed that it continues to go and show us new all-time high and challenge the last high at 45 cents back in December last year. But prepare yourself